By default, every request to your Laravel application will refetch the user out of the database with a database query. We can see this with Laravel debug bar, and we're selecting all of the columns by default from the users table, of course, where the ID matches the ID of the user that I'm logged in as. Now, for high traffic applications, or if you are dealing with speed issues with the data that's coming from your users table, you can actually go ahead and cache this. So we're going to be looking at how to do that and how to create a new driver for our cached authenticated users within Laravel. But we're of course also going to cover busting or clearing the cache when something changes. So it's really important we do that as well. Let's just take a really quick look at what this involves. So if we come over to our config and auth file, at the moment, by default, we have this Eloquent driver, which is always going to pull this data from the database. What we're going to be doing in this video is creating out a cached Eloquent driver, which means when we come over and give this a refresh, sure enough, we do get an initial database query to actually fetch this data. But this data will then be cached, and you can see that any subsequent requests I make here don't make that database request. So before we start, I wouldn't recommend this just doing this for every single project. Really, the benefit of this is if you have a very high traffic application or fetching users is getting in the way and you have some sort of speed bottleneck there. Okay, let's go ahead and clear everything out. We'll start from scratch and see how we can cache authenticated users in Laravel. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created a completely fresh project here, and I've registered a user and I've logged in. First step, let's go ahead and do a composer require Laravel debug bar so we can monitor the queries within our application. Okay, now that's done, that should just automatically appear for us. And as you can see, we've got quite a few queries here by default. Just to make this a little bit clearer, I'm going to head over to EMV and I'm going to swap over the session driver from database to file, just so we can focus on the one query here that we're trying to get rid of, which of course is fetching that user every single time. So the question is, where does this come from? How does Laravel choose, or where does Laravel fetch this user? Well, since we've pulled up Laravel debug bar already, you can see that this comes from the Eloquent user provider. So let's go ahead and open that up and just see what this contains. So let's say Eloquent user provider. And this, of course, is part of the base framework. So we don't want to modify anything here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this does. So we can see here it implements a user provider. So that's sort of a common provider between all of the different methods that we could potentially use to fetch a user. And let's go down and have a look here. So we've got the model here to fetch. We've got retrieve by ID. So that kind of looks like what we would want to override. And you can see here that we get a method called this new model query here, which goes ahead and either creates that model for like a user, a completely empty user, or it goes ahead and takes the model and grabs that back for us. So basically just fetches that out of the database using the ID of the user. And we've got some stuff in here to like set hashing and get the model and all that kind of stuff. Now, the good news is we don't really need to when we want to cache this kind of data. We don't really need to override, for example, the get or retrieve by ID method. We don't need to override this. We just need to call it from our own provider and then cache the result of this. So let's go ahead and try this out and see how we would do this. So if we go over to our app service provider, you could create out a separate service provider for this if you wanted to. The key part of this is going ahead and either using the auth helper, or you can use the auth facade for this. I prefer always using the helper. And we're going to go ahead and say provider. Now, what this method allows us to do is register a new provider, and we just want to return that provider. So at the moment, within the base of the framework, it will look like this. Eloquent, which is defined over in config and auth. So if we just look for the driver that's being used here, you can see that the driver for our users is Eloquent. This is how it would have been registered. And we would have had a closure in here that returns that new Eloquent user provider. That's the thing that we just opened. Now, obviously, this isn't what we want to do. We want to get rid of this and we want to create our own provider by extending that base Eloquent provider that we've just opened. So let's give this a new name. I'm just going to call this cached eloquent because technically we're still using eloquent, but we're just putting a caching layer in front of this. Now, when we go ahead and invoke this, the callback that we get here has an instance of our application under Illuminate Foundation and application. We're going to need that as well to pull our hasher out to pass into our eloquent user provider. And we also have an array of config items as well, which we can use to pass in the model, which exists just here. So that gets passed into here as well. Okay, so we want to take the eloquent user provider. We basically want to extend it, override retrieve by ID, but grab back a cached version of this. So how do we do that? Well, where do we put this? Well, we can just put this within our app directory here. I'm going to create out a directory in here called auth, and we could even create a directory in here called providers as well if we wanted to keep things nice and tidy. And we are just going to create out a PHP class in here, and let's call this cached eloquent user provider. So basically eloquent user provider with cache tacked onto the end of it. With this, we're going to extend the eloquent user provider that we've already opened. And in here, we're going to go ahead and override the retrieve by ID method. And we're going to return something different. For now, let's go ahead and just fill this in with the identifier. And let's go ahead and just return exactly the same thing. So let's just say parent, retrieve by ID, passing in the identifier. So once we do switch over our provider to this one, nothing will change at all. And then we can just wrap this and cache it. Okay, so let's take our cached eloquent user provider. Let's go over to our app service provider and let's return a new instance of this directly in here. Of course, make sure we go ahead and import this. And the two things that we need to pull in, if we just take a look at the base here, is the hasher for our application and the model which comes from our config. So to do this, we just want to pass in from our application the hash out of the container, and then from that config, we want to pass in the model, which is the user model. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's switch over in our auth config, this from eloquent to cached eloquent, now that we've registered that over here, and let's see what happens. And there we go. We don't see any difference whatsoever, because remember, what we're doing here is just overriding the retrieve by ID method and calling exactly the same one. What we can do now, though, is we can go ahead and wrap this in a cache. How do we do that? Well, of course, we use Laravel's caching functionality, and you can do this however you'd like. You can give it whatever key that you like. You can cache it for as long as you like. It doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and say cache remember. Let's put this under the key user underscore, and then let's give the identifier. The identifier, by the way, in my case, is going to be 1. So it kind of makes sense that we cache this under that key, and that makes it nice and easy. Next is how long we want to cache this for. So let's grab the current timestamp with carbon, and let's just add a day onto there. It doesn't really matter too much. And let's go ahead and create out our closure here, which returns what we want to cache. And in our case, of course, that is going to be the result of retrieve by ID. And of course, we also need to use the identifier here to bring that into scope. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's head back over to our application and let's see the difference. Now, at the moment, I think our caching is set at the database level, which of course is just going to completely negate everything that we've just been doing. So just before we refresh this, let's go ahead and check out what our cache store is. And yeah, sure enough, it's the database. So that would just replace fetching the user from the database with fetching the user from the cache from the database. And it doesn't really make sense. So we would want to change that to something like Redis or whatever else we're using. Okay, so now when we refresh, of course, that query to fetch the user is now gone. Now, this is all well and good. So we've switched this over, and of course, you can modify this to do whatever you want. You could do something different in here, fetch some other details and return them, whatever you needed to do. That's the basics of this. But we do have a problem, and that is busting the cache. So for example, if I go ahead and change over my name over here and hit save, this will have actually changed in the database. You can see here that has been updated, but because we're caching this data, this is now cached for a day, and it's highly unlikely I'm going to see this new value come through anytime soon. So this is the tricky part. Caching the user that we get returned is super simple. We've done that in pretty much no time. But now we need to figure out when to bust the cache or clear the cache. So let's go and do this now. And then you'll just need to think while you're building your application, anything that interacts with the user or updates the user, you will need to bust the cache. Okay, so a pretty much catch-all approach to busting the cache for the user whenever anything changes is to go ahead and make out an observer. So let's create out a user observer here, and let's hop over to our user model and let's attach this. So we can just use the PHP observed by attribute, or the Laravel observed by attribute here, and we can pass in the user observer into there. What we can now do is create out methods that hook into Eloquent, like updated. So when a user gets updated and that's hooked into that model, what do we want to do? Well, we want to just completely forget our user underscore and the user's ID cache value. So let's go ahead and say cache and forget, and let's pass in user underscore. This will be the user that gets updated. So all we need to do here is just pass in the user ID. And remember that matches up to the identifier that we were working with earlier. We can do the same thing as well when a user is, for example, deleted. These are the two that I would add if I was building this caching functionality into my own project. But then, of course, we have to think about other scenarios where the user would get updated, but you need to think about other instances where you are updating the user. For example, if you were somewhere in your application using DB table users to update a user or a bunch of users, this would not trigger the cache forgets. You'd have to manually do that. So really easy to add this caching functionality, but just make sure that you are clearing the cache in the places that you need to. Okay, so now that we've added this user observer, let's go over and have a look here. Sure enough, the data is still cached, but let's just try and update this value to Alexander again. And sure enough, you can see that has now been updated because we are clearing the cache and therefore refetching this data from the database. When we give this a refresh, though, we're back to 0 queries and we're back to a cached user. Of course, if I were to go ahead and delete this user, that cache key and value would also be removed. So super easy to add this caching. Just be really careful. Make sure you clear the cache where you need to. And I probably wouldn't pull this in for every single project, but it can be really helpful. And luckily with Laravel, having the ability to add in these new providers, it actually makes it pretty straightforward to do.